Good afternoon, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here today. I am David Marquardt, Director of Parks and Recreation, and I am so pleased to be standing here today amongst all of you that have been a significant part of delivering what we are about to celebrate today. I wish I could have been a part of it. I was not yet a part of the city organization at the time, but I am so pleased to be standing here today delivering these important and very valued projects to the city of Grand Rapids. And I want to thank our design team, Viridis Design Group, and Progressive AE. They both helped sponsor a part of today as well. So the trolley that we're riding on and the food that we will be eating is thanks to them. So our hats off to you and your participation in today. And I want to thank Commissioner Gutowski for coming out. Mayor, thank you for coming out. And we've got Monica from the Friends of Grand Rapids Board. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time up here. I want to share the podium with those that have the most knowledge and value of our city. So Mayor, if you could kick us off, please.
Well, I'm not sure about the most knowledge, but I'm happy to kick it off. Thank you. And also joining us is a third elected official today, our city comptroller. So thank you, Sarah, for being with us today. Yeah, this is indeed exciting, and what a fun way to celebrate it. Hop on the bus, Gus, and get a chance to see all of the other 6 parks that have been that are opening this year with significant investment. The result of our citizens having put their trust in city government to deliver a quality park system with the approval of the millage. This is when you look around and see the beauty of this park. The stately sycamore trees around us here, the open fields, the grassy areas, and then this exciting playground. Some of you who were perhaps at the one of the other openings in Cherry Hill will remember that Commissioner Gutowski opened the splash pad in his suit with the kids throwing balls. I don't think he's dressed for that today, but it was
I might surprise you.
Well, maybe so. So let me just say thanks again to our partners who've been part of the design and the work in this park, the neighbors who live in this area who've had their own input into this park, and the other 5 parks we'll see today, and most especially to our citizens, taxpayers, who entrusted us with these funds. We want to be good stewards of your money, and I think today will show that we indeed are. Commissioner Gutowski, a few words from you, please, sir.
Sure. Thanks, Mayor. Very few words. It's all about the kids, and that's what this is all about. And we want to thank all those folks that voted for this millage, because it is all about the kids. And I'm just going to say it one more time. It's all about the kids.
All right, and Monica, let me turn it over to you, Friends of Grand Rapids Parks. You have been so much a part of this, and have been just great partners to walk alongside throughout this process. So if you'd bless us with a few words, please.
My pleasure.
Here we go.
Thank you for being here. At Friends of Grand Rapids Parks, we believe so much in quality parks and what this space can do for a community, how it brings social interaction, playing, just being able to use this wonderful green space, and how it impacts the local economy. So we were so excited to partner with the City of Grand Rapids in this process. Excited to work with the neighborhoods, with the citizens that live right by the neighborhood parks that can be so involved in the planning process and the design of the parks. It's great to just have that community engagement, and we love to be a part of it. So we truly believe in quality parks, and we appreciate everyone supporting our park system in the city and Friends of Grand Rapids Parks. And we look forward to next year also adding more to the list for improvements. So thank you all for being here, and we look forward to the tour of our parks, and hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. All right. David, what's the plan here? Hop on a bus?
Hop on the bus.
Hop on a bus!
Okay, well, this obviously is Highland Park. Some of the major things that we worked through here with the neighbor planning team was to kind of reconfigure the playground. The big kids' playground was always over here. We have added a new piece. There was an old world that needed to be replaced. But the little kids' playground was way over there. At one time, there had been a wading pool right here. So the desire was to make it more of a contiguous playground and then bring the water element back into the park. So that's why we've got the new splash pad over in the northwest corner of this area. So all the play is a little bit more consolidated than it used to be. The other thing was to get some new walkways to connect for people coming from the neighborhood to the east to wind down to the play area or get over to the old Caddy Shack building. If anybody knows the history of this park, there used to be a par 3 golf course here. And that apparently was the old clubhouse or Caddy Shack. So we also redid the area around the Caddy Shack. There's kind of an overlook out to the lowland areas and the north part of the park. So that overlook was all redone as well. So. With Linkin Park, working through with the neighborhood planning team, kind of the three major issues that they were concerned about was, again, one, they wanted to see water play introduced back into the park. So we worked with them locating the splash pad close to the existing playground. Second was to do some improvements to the existing playground. So there was a a structure in the far playground which was not in great shape. A lot of parents had concerns with the condition as well as the safety of it. So we took that out and actually replaced it with 3 pieces who I've seen some people here already go over and test. The new slide, the red slide, the climber to the right of it with the netting, and then the spinner, which at least 2 people from this group have tried out already. And then the third issue was to try and increase some of the security and lighting within the park. The master plan calls for dressing up all 4 corners of the park and having walkway lighting coming in. So because we're already kind of in the southwest or southeast corner of the park, the southeast corner got a new entry with landscaping, and unfortunately you can see the bases for the new ornamental lights, but in the next day or 2 hopefully you will see new ornamental lighting similar to what's in at Joe Taylor Park and some of the other ones, the acorn fixtures, the ornamental lighting. So this one was the most recently finished, so we're still waiting for grass to pop up on this one.
Okay, whoever wants to hear about Roosevelt Park. So almost a year ago, when we held the community visioning sessions, actually, Giovanni should be giving this talk because he was so influential in getting all the people together and really creating that sense of community to give the input that went into the design for this park. But there was a lot of input, and probably the biggest thing that we heard was it's a very big park, very nice park, but just underutilized in terms of not good access into the park. We have Potter's House across the road. You're on a major corridor here with Granville Avenue, business district right behind, and then the residential area that way. It was hard to get into the park. There wasn't a lot of things to do. And some of the things that they actually talked about were very minimal, that were just basic needs, like a restroom building, drinking fountains, bike racks. So we looked at several options of where the water feature may go. The other big thing with this park is, you may or may not know, but right next to here is Plaster Creek. Plaster Creek runs right at the bottom. So this is all one big watershed. That's why you saw some rain garden signs at the top, which was done as part of an initiative with Potter's House. But that was also important to this park, was to let the community understand that whatever impacts are done here on the site influence the watershed down below. So the water feature was really important. We have the lodge building behind us, which has a basketball court and some community rooms in it. But they really wanted to pull that sense of community out into the park space and allow for gatherings and larger family events in the park. So we've got, this splash pad area here. They decided to do a restroom building attached to, because it's important to have if you have kids, and once they get wet, other stuff starts to happen, so you need a restroom. Because the restroom building is actually inside there, and that was one of the things that we heard was hard to run back and forth, so this was part of the project. Barrier-free access was important to this park, because it is so hilly. Looking down to the lower area here, is they had a path that comes through, and you'll see kind of serpentine its way around, but none of it was really up to code, so there was some issues with that. So that was addressed here as well. Bike parking was a big part of the project, and then maintaining that sense of continuity from the Potter's House to the splash pad, and then around, connecting to their existing shelter that they currently had, and connecting down to the playground area. You'll notice that this structure has one monoslope off the back, so all the rainwater that comes onto this pad here and onto the roof around the back, you'll see where it's dug out. That's going to be a future rain garden. WEMIAC is sponsoring a planting of that, so that all the storm water is treated in the first flush in the rain garden here before overflowing and eventually working its way back down to the watershed. So.
If you know the history of this park at all, it was originally donated, I believe, by the Garfield family, and a landscape architect who was from Grand Rapids named O.C. Simons did the original plan for the park. And that original plan was to have a very pastoral landscape, not have active recreation as part of it, which obviously times change and we've got a lot of active recreation at the park. But in working through this master plan with the neighborhood planning team, there was a desire to try and revert some of the park back to that original master plan. So if you were to see the master plan, the whole west edge of the park and a good deal of the north part of the park would revert back to that more pastoral, passive landscape, possibly even having areas where you just let grasses grow and have native vegetation kind of fill in some of the hardwood stands. To that end, the master plan tries to concentrate more of the active recreation over in this area. So, as Giovanni was saying, there were already basketball courts there, so these are futsal courts. Futsal court is a miniaturized version of soccer that's becoming more and more popular, and so the neighborhood planning team felt it would be good to add that other element to the park, and that over time, I got the question, where's the splash pad? The splash pad's in the master plan, but the idea was this would be constructed first to help create a little bit more diversity of recreation experience. Future phases would relocate the basketball courts from over there to the south of the futsal, and that there would be a splash pad out where the basketball courts are now in that master plan. Again, if you saw some of the historical photos of the park, there was kind of a very shallow pool that kind of looked almost like a splash pad back in the day. is very, very, very long and very shallow. And from what we can tell, it was about in that part of the park. So in addition to the futsal courts here, if you know, this is where the pool used to be. The pool building was here. That just got demolished last fall. So because we're adding more impervious pavement here, and there is also roof drainage, we're working on creating a rain garden area here between the futsal and the gym building that remains. Also, there were some playground pieces in the small kids' playground here that needed to be replaced. Those were added to give a little bit more equity to the Kaboom playground that had been added a few years ago in the bigger kids' play area. And then kind of in the distance beyond the trees, we've got a more family scale picnic shelter that was added again in I guess the idea that over time the picnic shelters that are in the northwest part of the site are getting older and more worse for wear, that those would get eliminated. There'd be another picnic shelter, so that we basically would get all the active recreation and picnicking kind of in this zone here, and everything else would revert more to Simon's original master plan.
Okay, last one, Wilcox Park. So you are in the Easttown Community Association. They were our steering committee. They were a great asset in terms of master planning the entire park. Wilcox Park, if you're not familiar with it, it actually goes like a panhandle back all the way up to Robinson Road. So you're in the northern portion of it, and this is more of the active recreation. One of the cool things about this park, besides having wonderful historic mature trees throughout the entire park, is that Aquinas College is right across the creek. So we've got another watershed here that runs through the park of the boundary. So there was 3 phases as part of the master plan. Phase 1 was to focus on one of the biggest assets was the playground. St. Thomas, which is a school, you actually see kids coming up right now. They utilize this park every day. The neighborhoods actively use this park. A lot of young kids in this neighborhood. So this playground was very important to them. So we focused on the water feature here. I should probably go back into what was here. There was a wading pool over there where that 3-bay swing is, where the people are swinging. There was a tot swing right here. And the rest of the playground equipment was here and is going to be here for a little while. But it was important to the community to expand the size of their playground. It is quite a large playground, but it gets a lot of use. So we introduced the water feature here, and this is all sequenced in time. You don't see any above ground like play structures here, because the focus of this is so they can have community events here, so they can turn the fountain off, fill this with people, have concerts and bands up here. So it's multi-use space. We've built and expanded the playground out towards Ewell Street. You'll see kind of a blank spot there now, but the neighborhood actually is working towards their next phase of next year's goal of doing the rest of the playground and building that out back to the entry here. One of the other components of this park was to do as little as possible. That was one of the, it's kind of hard as a designer because you want to design, but it was very important to them to have this flexible green space out here and maintain this as a flexible green space and not impact this line further to the south. The phase 2 plan, they've got some ideas about maybe making this center larger so it can accommodate larger groups, maybe the housing component to their neighborhood association, and then work on environmental improvements to the watershed and partner with Aquinas to do those types of things. There actually is some active footpaths in the woodlot back there. They'd like to enhance that and be able to cross the creek and tie the community into the college.